We have huge breaking news. This comes directly, as of 30 minutes ago, from Kevin's lawyer. Apparently, Kevin and Ruby not only broke up recently, but they just stopped talking as he cut off all contact because he's furious at her. Guys, make sure and click the plus sign. I'm going to have more information come out about this, and I don't want you to miss it. Sound off in the comments and tell me what you think. But guys, this just broke. I'm literally in my pajamas. I was about to start getting ready for bed, and I saw this news. I want you to take a look at this clip. This is, once again, Kevin's lawyer speaking out, and then we're going to dissect this and we'll discuss. Take a look.
Once known as the father and husband in the 8 Passengers YouTube series, Kevin Franke's attorney now says the father of 6 is fighting for custody of his children.
There's a lot to be told. There's a lot of chapters in this book.
Law and Crime Network crews traveled to Provo, Utah this week to sit down with Kevin Franke's attorney, Randy Kester. He says his client had no idea his children were being abused and instead points the finger at Jodi Hildebrandt, alleging she brainwashed the entire family.
That once she got involved in their lives, it just destroyed his family. It did. And he's now trying to recover from that and put it back together. He wants it back the way it was.
In recent days, Kevin Franke has stopped speaking with his estranged wife, Ruby, after she dropped bombshell news on him during a jailhouse phone call.
He hasn't spoken to Ruby for about 2 weeks now.
So he did speak with her after her arrest, it sounds like then.
He spoke with her, I think there are reports out there actually. He spoke with her a week ago Friday, and that was when he started to realize the broad perspective of the deception that he'd been fed. And in that discussion, found out a lot of things from her that he should have been told. He should have been involved. And after the phone call, he just decided that he'd been deceived and hasn't had contact with her since.
In fact, Kevin Franke hasn't even discussed the allegations with his wife.
His backing off from communication with Ruby was because he felt betrayed, he felt deceived, and so he didn't feel like that it would merit any further consultation.
All right, where do I begin? First of all, didn't he say at the first time he spoke with Law and Crime, maybe a week ago, that was the last time he was speaking up? And I feel like we just don't stop hearing from him, which we'll get into. Now, this is a 20-minute interview. I'm going to break down all of this for you guys, but I wanted just to focus on this. So he says he hasn't spoken. So Kevin hasn't spoken to Ruby because she apparently in this jail call made some bombshells and he felt betrayed and disgusted and all of these things. I have some thoughts. So I haven't gotten too far in this interview yet, but here's what I want to say, and I want to theorize this. I've been saying this for a while and I still stand by this. I think Kevin's sole focus has been getting Ruby back. That's what I think is happening. And I am wondering if, and I'm saying if this is true, what was it that he found out? Did he find out that Ruby was cheating? I mean, technically they were still together, but technically they were separated. We don't really know what's going on with these two. But so far what we know is all we've heard for a while is with this lawyer, it was lined up mostly that it's Jodi's fault. And we're still hearing how it's all Jodi's fault. But there was, I don't know if I'd call it defense, but there was some trying to shine a better light on Ruby. And the gloves are off. So I'm wondering if Kevin found out that she was actually with Jodi. Because let's be real, and this is what this lawyer keeps leaving out. Kevin was a part of the abuse too. He just wasn't a part of the abuse when Jodi was there. Kevin withheld food from his children. Kevin would just round the kids' stuff up and throw it away, including homework, and say, if you want it back, you have to pay for it. However, they weren't allowed to have jobs, even though because of the family, that's how they got the content that made the millions, but they didn't pay their children anything, which Hollywood now has stricter rules about making sure the children get something. They seem to have left their kids with nothing. And so what was all of that filming? It was slavery, in my opinion. So when I look at this, I'm like, something happened. To me, it's obvious this man doesn't care about his kids. A man that cares about his kids would never just abandon them. I was talking to my partner about this. Neither one of us are religious. I'm very spiritual. He's an atheist who's becoming more and more spiritual over time. And I said, I just can't imagine for the life of me a situation where we would have kids and I would say, whatever, because of the therapist, and that you need to go and have zero contact and block the children, not speak to them for 14 months. And he'd go, okay. That doesn't happen to a parent that cares. And I think that's very apparent in the fact that CPS won't give him the children. And this lawyer has point blank said that he's trying to desperately prove to CPS that he's a good father. If he was a good father, he wouldn't be having to prove anything. So what do I think happened? I think what's actually happened is he realized that she was actually with Jodi. He's angry, and now he's doing this on some level, not just for revenge, but for good PR for him. I think he now realizes, well, if she is with somebody else and doesn't want to be with me, I think she's probably been still trying to use him from prison because she's still stringing him along that maybe we'll be together. And I think now that maybe he realizes the full extent of what she's done, again, not that it matters what happened with the children. He hasn't been invested in that, but the fact that she betrayed him, now he's concerned. Now he wants nothing to do with her. Are you kidding me? I don't know. I think it's disgusting. And remember, we just had an article come out where he's like, I'm not going to sling mud. No, you'll pay for your lawyer to do that. I don't trust this snake. She is awful, and I don't trust him. I don't know. Am I onto something here? Does none of this sit right with you guys? What do you think about my assessment? I still have to get through the rest of this interview. I just had to get this part out. So make sure tomorrow there's going to be a ton of videos. On top of that, we have a new victim of Jodi's coming out. It's a lot. And apparently the Mormon church funded the abuse. Unreal. Guys, make sure and click the plus sign so you don't miss all this. Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you think of my assessment. Tell me what you think of your seeing of this interview so far. Tell me what you think of this lawyer, and tell me what you think of this one. All right, I'm done. I will see you tomorrow.